it was a big change. I definitely see him happier.
And I think what's cool is to know that James, getting to know God and changing his life has not just changed his life, but, Raylan's too.
GC has impacted my life tremendously. I would call my journey pretty much a 180 from what I was doing. My daughter, Raylan, her mother and her stepfather been coming to Generation Church for a very long time. I couldn't tell you exactly when they started coming, but it was shortly after Kelsey and Adam got married, I believe, that they started coming to GC. And they would invite me from time to time. They'd be like, hey, we're doing this at church, or it would be awesome if you would come to church. And I was, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. And I would usually end up trying to come up with some excuse, some reason why I couldn't. I would intentionally make sure that I was scheduled to work on Sundays, just so I could have a reason to say no without just being like, I don't want to. But Raylan, shortly after Raylan got baptized, she she wanted me to come to her baptism, and so I came, and I'd been to Generation Church before that, but I would try to get here 5 minutes late so that I could walk in with the room dark. I don't have to worry about too many people trying to talk to me. I'd sit in the back. As soon as the last worship song would start, I would try to sneak out, and I would always be I gotta go, I got things to do, places to be. So I'd been here before, but seeing Raylan's baptism at the groundbreaking was really cool. And shortly after that, she started inviting me. And I kept telling myself, if she wants to invite me, I'll go. But I'm only going to go if Raylan invites me. I'm not going to go because Kelsey does, or Adam does, or anybody else. And so it started becoming a weekly thing. My nights with Raylan, she would always bring it up. Always. She'd be like, hey, Daddy, you coming to church? Yeah, if you want me to, I guess so. I guess I will. And that went on for probably, 5 months or so. And then I started getting more comfortable being here. I really enjoyed being here. And so I got to where I would come even if I knew Raylan wasn't even going to be here. I would just come because I enjoyed it. And then the men's retreat came up, and Kelsey really, I don't want to say pressured me, because it wasn't, I didn't feel pressured, but she would remind me from time to hey, this men's retreat's coming up. I think you would love it. You should go. So I signed up reluctantly, and I remember on that day, the day of, being I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to go, but I paid for it, so I was gonna go. When I showed up, and man, I'd never, over those 3 days, I don't know that I'd ever been in an environment where the transparency, not just mine, but hearing other guys just tell their stories without holding back. And that experience made me feel comfortable enough to do it. And then doing it, knowing that I could be transparent like they were, without judgment, knowing that it would be met with understanding, and not even just understanding, but trying to help. Hey, we get it. We want to help you. And then the last night of that, Brandon sharing his story was wild, dude. Just crazy. And from that moment, like, I knew, I was like, that's definitely something I want to be a part of. So I got home from that trip, sat at the end of my bed, and I had the conversation. I had that conversation with God. And my life hasn't been the same since. I think the story has been impactful. I think the story has been impactful for other people because since that day, I know that my mom has talked about coming. My dad did come. And that may not be consistent, but just seeing him come through the doors was huge. Like getting his foot in the door was just monumental.